back with the immigration segment, and we're going to be talking about DACA. For those who don't know what DACA is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's an American immigration policy that allows some individuals with unlawful presence in the United States after being brought to the country as children to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and become eligible for a work permit in the U.S. To be eligible for the program, recipients cannot have felonies or serious misdemeanors on their records. Unlike the proposed DREAM Act, DACA does not provide a path to citizenship for recipients, known as Dreamers. These are the words of President Obama.
Good afternoon, everybody. This morning, Secretary Napolitano announced new actions my administration will take to mend our nation's immigration policy, to make it more fair, more efficient, and more just, specifically for certain young people, sometimes called Dreamers. Now, these are young people who study in our schools, they play in our neighborhoods, they're friends with our kids, they pledge allegiance to our flag. They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants, and often have no idea that they're undocumented until they apply for a job or a driver's license or a college scholarship. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine you've done everything right your entire life. Studied hard, worked hard, maybe even graduated at the top of your class, only to suddenly face the threat of deportation to a country that you know nothing about, with a language that you may not even speak. That's what gave rise to the DREAM Act. Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security is taking steps to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people.
But now that protection is gone. DACA was designed to protect a generation of young undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers, named after a bill called the DREAM Act, which had been floating around the Congress for more than a decade. And with support, the bill would have given unauthorized immigrants who grew up in the U.S. a way to gain legal status and eventually apply for citizenship. But President Obama offered an expansion to the benefit. He proposed to make older immigrants eligible for DACA and creating similar protections from deportation for undocumented parents with children who were U.S. citizens. A lot of Republicans said, whoa, that's going way too far. These new actions would have protected about 4.5 million people in the country. A group of 26 states sued the Obama administration over the expansion, and they won. A federal judge stopped DACA expansion from going into effect, saying that it was probably unconstitutional. Once Donald Trump became the leading Republican presidential candidate running on an immigration hardline platform, Republicans started to look at things in a new light.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration.
Nearly 8 months under his term, he still hadn't ended DACA. As a result, a bunch of states threatened to sue the Trump administration if they didn't get rid of it. And he is doing it. He is getting rid of DACA, and there's nothing we can do to prevent it. DACA has had a big impact on young undocumented immigrants. A survey of DACA recipients found that nearly 69% got a job with better pay. More than 60% opened their first bank account. Nearly 65% bought their first car, and a similar share said that they pursued educational opportunities they previously couldn't. But when this protection expired over the upcoming weeks, months, or years, they will be back where they started before 2012, unable to work legally and constantly at risk of deportation.